My dad called the cops on me for wrecking his $80,000 Camaro. He froze when the officer played the dashcam footage. My name's Ethan, and I never believed something made of metal and glass could tear a family apart. Turns out, I was wrong, because my father made sure of it. He cared about cars more than he ever cared about people. And without question, he loved his brand new Camaro a whole lot more than he loved me. In the end, that car became the thing that completely ruined him. My dad, Mark, was obsessed with one thing above all else: image. He was a successful real estate agent in our town, the kind of guy whose smiling face you'd see plastered on billboards and bus benches. He always wore the sharpest suits, the flashiest watch, and he wanted a picture-perfect family to go along with it. The problem was, I didn't fit that picture. I was 23 years old, working full-time as a mechanic, and most days I had grease under my fingernails that no amount of scrubbing could get rid of. To my father, that made me a failure. He wanted a son who wore suits, not coveralls, someone like a lawyer or a doctor he could brag about over drinks at the country club. Instead, he got me. We lived in a big house inside a gated community. I was still living there because I was trying to save enough money for a down payment on my own place. I paid rent, bought my own groceries, and mostly stayed out of everyone's way. My mom, Susan, was quiet and soft-spoken. She spent her whole life trying to keep the peace, tiptoeing around my father's massive ego and constant mood swings. About 3 months ago, my dad went through what I can only describe as a supercharged midlife crisis. Out of nowhere, he went out and bought himself a brand new Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. The thing was black on black, sleek and intimidating, like a stealth bomber on wheels, and it cost him over $80,000. That car was an absolute monster, 650 horsepower. Loud, fast, aggressive, basically a perfect reflection of him. He became completely obsessed. He parked it in the garage and actually set up velvet ropes around it so no one would accidentally brush against the paint. Every single night, he wiped it down by hand with a microfiber cloth. He also made rules. No food, no drinks, and most importantly, Ethan was never allowed to touch it. Honestly, I didn't care. I worked on cars all day long. I drove fast, expensive vehicles at the shop. I had zero interest in his precious toy, but that didn't stop him from constantly dangling it in front of me. "This isn't just a car," he'd say, shaking the keys so I could hear them jingle. "It's a machine for men who've actually earned it. Maybe one day, if you get a real job, you'll be able to afford a tire for something like this." I ignored him. I also knew the truth. He was a terrible driver. He was impatient, aggressive, and acted like traffic laws didn't apply to him because he drove something expensive. I was genuinely worried he was going to get himself killed in that car. That concern is what led me to do what I did next. About 2 weeks after he bought the Camaro, I bought him a Dashcam. Not a cheap one either. It was a high-end 4K system that recorded the front, the rear, and even the inside of the cabin. It tracked speed, logged GPS data, and automatically uploaded everything to the cloud. I gave it to him as a peace offering. I told him, "Dad, with a car this expensive, you need protection. People drive like maniacs. If something happens, this proves it wasn't your fault." He scoffed. "I don't need a camera. I'm an excellent driver." Then he paused and waved his hand. "But whatever. Install it. Just don't scratch the dashboard." I installed it perfectly. I hid all the wiring so nothing showed, synced it to the cloud, and even walked him through how it worked. He glanced at it for maybe 5 seconds, lost interest immediately, and walked away. He assumed it was just some useless gadget sitting there. He had no idea it was always watching. Fast forward to last Saturday. It was hot and humid, one of those sticky summer nights. My mom was out of town visiting her sister, so it was just me and my dad in the house. I'd worked a long shift at the shop and was completely wiped out. Around 9, I went to my room, put on my headphones, played a little video games, and eventually passed out. I woke up to someone slamming on my door. This wasn't a normal knock, it was violent. Bam, bam, bam. I checked my phone. It was 3:15 in the morning. "Ethan, open this door right now." It was my dad, and he sounded completely unhinged. I stumbled out of bed, half asleep and confused, and opened the door. He shoved past me into my room. He was wearing his bathrobe, drenched in sweat, his face bright red. "You ungrateful little thief," he screamed. "What did you do? What are you talking about?" I asked, rubbing my eyes. "The car. My Camaro. It's gone." My stomach dropped. "Gone? What do you mean gone? Did someone steal it?" "Don't play dumb with me," he yelled, getting right in my face. I could smell alcohol on his breath. "The keys are missing from the hook. You're the only one here. You took it for a joyride, didn't you? Where is it? Did you scratch it?" "Dad, I've been asleep since 10, I said. "I didn't touch your car. I don't even want to drive it." "Liar," he shouted. "I'm calling the police. I'm not protecting you this time." Before I could react, He pulled out his phone and dialed 911. I stood there in shock as he reported his own son for grand theft auto. I tried to calm him down. Dad, hang up. Let's just go outside. Maybe you parked it somewhere else. I parked it in the garage, he roared. And now the door's open and the car is gone. He gave the operator our address and said, my son stole my $80,000 vehicle. I want officers here immediately. 20 minutes later, our front yard was glowing red and blue. 2 police cruisers pulled up, followed by a third vehicle, a tow truck, but not for us. One of the officers came to the door. Officer Grant. Big guy. Serious expression. Mr. Parker? He asked. Yes, my dad said, instantly switching to his victim voice. He looked like he was on the verge of tears. Officer, thank you for coming. I'm devastated. My son has issues. He took my new Camaro while I was sleeping. I just want my car back. Officer Grant glanced at me. Is this your son? Yes, my dad replied quickly. He's a mechanic. He knows how to hotwire cars, or he just stole the keys. He's been jealous of that car since the day I bought it. Officer Grant turned back to me. Sir, step outside onto the porch, please. I did. Officer, I didn't take the car. I was asleep all night. That's when another call crackled through his shoulder radio, loud enough for all of us to hear. Dispatch to Unit 4. We located the vehicle matching the description. Black Camaro ZL1. It's wrapped around a utility pole on Oak Street. Total loss. No driver on scene. My father let out an exaggerated gasp and covered his mouth. Oh my God, he said dramatically. He wrecked it. He destroyed my dream car. Then he pointed at me, his fingers shaking. You did this, he yelled. You useless, jealous waste of space. I didn't drive it, I shouted back. I was asleep in my bed. Save it for the judge, my dad snapped, his voice full of venom. He turned toward Officer Grant without missing a beat. I want to press charges, everything you can throw at him. Grand theft auto, destruction of property, reckless driving. I want him arrested tonight. Maybe some time in prison will finally straighten him out. Officer Grant studied me carefully, his expression tightening. Son, if you were behind the wheel, now is the time to say so. Leaving the scene of an accident is a felony. And if alcohol was involved, that makes things a whole lot worse. I wasn't driving, I said firmly. Check the car. Look at the seat position. I'm 6'2". My dad's 5'8". The seat won't match me. He probably moved it, my dad barked. Officer, look at him. He's lying. He's always been a liar. I felt completely cornered. My own father was trying to pin a felony on me, and he was good at it. He was the respected pillar of the community. I was just the grease-stained mechanic's son. I could see it in the officer's eyes. He was starting to believe him. Turn around and place your hands behind your back, Officer Grant said. I'm detaining you while we investigate. The cold click of the handcuffs hitting my wrists sent a chill straight through me. My dad stood there with his arms crossed, wearing a look of grim satisfaction. He wasn't mourning the car anymore. He was enjoying the fact that he was winning. That's right, he said smugly. Take him away. And then it hit me. The dash cam. My dad had completely forgotten about it. He never used the app, never checked the footage, but I did. Officer, I yelled. Wait, the car has a camera. Officer Grant paused. What kind of camera? I installed a dash cam 3 weeks ago, I said quickly. It records inside and outside the car. It uploads everything to the cloud. I have the app on my phone. It'll show exactly who was driving. My dad's face drained of color. Under the flashing blue lights, I watched all his confidence disappear in an instant. There's no camera, he stammered. He's lying. He's just trying to stall. It's on my phone, I said. My phone's in my pocket. Please, officer, check the footage. If it shows me driving, take me straight to jail. But you have to look. Officer Grant glanced at my dad, who was now sweating through his robe, then back at me. All right, he said. I'll take a look. He unlocked one cuff so I could reach my phone. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from pure adrenaline. I opened the app, and it synced to the cloud. There it was, a file from tonight. Timestamp, 2:30 a.m. Here, I said, handing him the phone. Officer Grant took it. My dad stepped forward like he was about to grab it. Stay back, sir, the officer warned. He pressed play and turned the volume up. The video started from the interior camera. The first sound was laughter, and it definitely wasn't mine. It was my father's voice. Floor it, baby, he yelled on the recording. He was in the driver's seat. And he wasn't alone. In the passenger seat sat a woman who was absolutely not my mother. I recognized her instantly, Mrs. Collins, the wife of his business partner. She was laughing, holding a red Solo cup. Mark, slow down, she giggled, spilling her drink all over the expensive leather seats. This car can handle it, my dad slurred. His eyes were glassy. He was clearly drunk. Officer Grant looked up from the phone. Is that you, sir? My dad didn't answer. He stood frozen, like a statue. The video kept rolling. The car swerved. The speed overlay flashed, 85 miles per hour in a 35 zone. Then everything changed. "Watch out," the woman screamed. There was a violent thump. The car jolted hard. "What was that?" she cried. "Mark, you hit something. You hit that dog walker." My blood ran cold. He hadn't just hit a pole. "Shut up," my dad yelled on the video. He didn't slow down, he sped up. "You have to stop," she screamed. "I can't," he shouted back. "I've been drinking. I'll lose my license." The tires screeched as he took a sharp turn. He lost control. The camera spun as the car spun. Then came the massive crunch. Airbags exploded, filling the cabin with white dust. The video went quiet for a moment, followed by coughing. "We gotta go," my dad said, shoving the airbag aside. "We gotta go. Run. I'll report it stolen. I'll blame Ethan, he's home." "You can't blame your son," the woman cried. "He's a loser," my dad snapped. "Nobody will believe him. Get out. Run through the woods to your house. I'll run home." The recording ended. Officer Grant stood silently for a long moment. He looked at the phone. Then he looked at me. He reached into his pocket, pulled out the key, and unlocked the rest of my cuffs. "I'm sorry, son," he said. Then he turned to my father. My dad was shaking now, trying to speak, but no words came out. He looked like a trapped animal. "Mr. Parker," Officer Grant said, his voice hard and cold. "Turn around and place your hands behind your back." "Wait," my dad squeaked. It was fake. A deep fake. He edited it. "That's AI. Save it," the officer said, grabbing his wrist and spinning him around. The cuffs snapped on tight. "Mark Parker," Officer Grant said, "you are under arrest for driving under the influence, reckless driving, leaving the scene of an accident with injury, and filing a false police report." "Injury," my dad whispered, his voice trembling. "Yes," the officer replied. "We received a report of a pedestrian struck on Oak Street 5 minutes before the crash. He's in critical condition. That makes this a felony hit and run." My dad broke down completely. Not the fake tears from earlier, but ugly, real sobbing. "Ethan," he screamed as they walked him to the cruiser. Tell them, you let me drive. I'm your father, don't let them take me." I stood on the porch and crossed my arms. I looked him straight in the eyes. "You said it yourself, Dad," I said loudly enough for the neighbors to hear. "I'm just a loser. Nobody will believe me." They shoved him into the back of the car. The aftermath was brutal. My mom came home the next morning. I showed her the video. Watching her husband drunk, with another woman, planning to frame their own son, it shattered something in her. But it also woke her up. She filed for divorce immediately. Because of the video, both the proof of his affair and the evidence of his crimes, my mom held all the cards. The man my dad hit survived, thankfully, but he suffered a broken leg and a serious concussion. On top of the criminal charges, my dad is now facing a massive civil lawsuit from him. Since my father was the public face of his real estate firm, the fallout was immediate and brutal. The news wiped out his business almost overnight. Nobody wants to buy a house from a guy who runs over a pedestrian and then tries to pin it on his own son. His partners wasted no time cutting him loose. Right now, he's sitting in jail waiting for trial. The judge denied him bail, calling him a flight risk and pointing to his history of lying to the police. For once, his reputation worked against him. As for me, I'm doing all right. With my dad out of the picture, my mom needed help managing the estate and sorting through the finances. That's when she finally realized I wasn't just some grease monkey like he always said. I helped her work through lawyers, deal with the banks, and make sense of everything he'd left behind. We sold the big house. There were too many bad memories wrapped up in those walls. My mom bought herself a nice condo, something peaceful and manageable. From the settlement, she gave me a sizable amount of money, part apology, part acknowledgement, for not standing up for me sooner. I used that money to open my own performance auto shop. It's doing really well. I've got a waiting list of customers now. People who actually trust me with their cars. That still feels good to say. Every now and then, someone asks me if I feel bad for my dad. They always say the same thing. He's still your father. When that happens, I think back to that night. I remember how easily he was willing to destroy my life just to protect his own image. I think about him screaming that I was a loser while wiping another woman's lipstick off his face. No, I don't feel bad. He loved that Camaro more than anything else in his life. And somehow, it feels right that the very thing he worshipped is what cost him everything. The car itself was totaled, crushed down into a cube at a scrapyard. But I kept one piece of it. The Dashcam sits on a shelf in my office at the shop. A small reminder that the truth always comes out, especially when it's recorded in 4K.